Vaka Taimani, and I have the privilege of talking to you right now. I apologize for my lack of paying attention to my dad and knowing just the formal process. I'm just so filled with love and appreciation. My dad had this funny way of giving us kids. You couldn't call every kid your favorite kid, so he would everyone had a title, Barry had a title, and then for me it was just like, oh, you're the luckiest kid. And I just didn't feel that lucky, but the lucky was because of the name that he blessed me with. And my brother told me to write something down, and I just figured I'd and forget, so I didn't. But what I will say is, throughout this week and through this last couple of months, I've always been just a calm spirit and the quiet one. And my brother used to give me a hard time, like I'm too passive, or whatever. And one time we got in an argument, and I said, my quietness is my strength, it's not my weakness. And I feel like I learned that, and I got that from my dad in his humility, to be sure of who you are, to be rooted in your faith. And through that silence this week, I tried to just be a sponge and soak in everything that I was seeing and feeling. And one of the things that stood out to me is, and I said, and I think there's quite a few pastors' kids in here, and I guess this kind of goes for all of us, is that when you have a father so committed in ministry, sometimes you just don't understand the sacrifice. And it felt like an unfair sacrifice as a son. I always had to fight for God before I had a father, and I didn't understand that at the time. And so sometimes in my youth and in my young adult age, I just didn't know how to handle it. I was kind of resentful, or I would be distant, and just didn't get it. And this week, to see your love and your presence, I didn't get it. How many of these funerals I've been to my whole life, but I didn't understand the true power of presence, of you showing up and being here, and the power that it gives the family who's grieving. Thank you so much for that. When I think of that sacrifice, maybe it was, my dad was a hugger, but he wasn't very mobile, so that's how he loved my kids. They would come and he would just, if you learn about this love language, my dad was a physical touch. He would just hug them tight. He was also a gift giver, so he'd give them some money too. But when I think of the quality of time is what I needed from him as a son. I didn't always get it, but I've learned through this week, I view that quality time that I didn't get. I feel like, man, what a burden it is to be in ministry. And sometimes your kids aren't going to get it. But maybe that one moment, and many moments throughout my life, he took it, and like the talents, and he multiplied it. And then he gave it to you. He gave you the love that I thought that I deserved for myself. But what I've learned is that is, man, what a labor of love for you pastors and you in ministry to give like that. And I hope that that could be of some encouragement to us pastors' kids, is that I feel like this full circle moment, as I'm processing and grieving and the loss of him, I feel like, you know what? If I had to give that again, all over again, so that he can travel the world and share the gospel and change lives, I hope I would be bold enough to remember how I feel today and say yes, because it's worth it, because God is worth it, and his love is worth it. So thank you again so much for the gift of your presence, the support, to my dear mom, all of my siblings. I just want to say, I know he's watching from Boma, but see how we love you so much, and we wish you could be here. Our oldest brother, even when we were in Doma, just said quickly that he makes all of us look. I've never been used to someone making me look so small, but because of that, I felt like his little, I just wanted to be so close to him when we were there. And Shannon said, oh, you two are the most alike, just calm in spirit. We just want to fill the room with love. So we love you so much. Thank you, all of you.
A little more than 20 years ago, I walked through the door of Vaka's home on Elementary Drive. During that trip, I remember sitting with Vaka at the kitchen table while he peeled persimmons. I wanted to get to know my future father-in-law, so I spent the morning asking him questions about his culture, his ministry, and the family, while he peeled and shared all his fruits with me. 4 months later, he flew to Arizona with a giant cooler of Lay's and attended my college graduation alongside my parents. There weren't a lot of Islanders graduating in ASU's Communication Arts program that year, so I stuck out with Lay's filed all the way to my eyeballs. 3 months after my graduation, Vaka was singing at our wedding and calling his boys up during our reception to sing Amazing Grace. Fast forward to just a few months ago, when I had a chance to visit Tonga for the first time and attend church in Foz Village. This time, when he called up his boys to sing Amazing Grace, all 4 of his sons were with him. And all 4 of his sons' wives were there to watch and listen with tears in our eyes. Unrehearsed and unplanned, but their voices blended beautifully. And with that new deep bass harmony from Sia, it was a perfect snapshot in time and a memory we'll never forget. To our siblings that are watching this service live in Tonga, Sia, Naki, and Ellie, we love you so much. We miss you. We wish you were here with us. But we're so thankful that you created a space there for people to gather on this day as we celebrate the life of our dad. For 20 years, I've been proud to be a part of this family. To the world, Vaka was an evangelist, a spiritual giant, a faithful leader, and a Tongan gospel legend. To my children and I, he was just God. He was a loving and proud grandpa who took any opportunity to brag about his grandkids. He loved celebrating their accomplishments and telling everyone about them, from sports accolades to good grades to graduations, but there was no prouder moment than seeing each of his grandkids begin a relationship with Jesus. I'm so grateful that our kids are all old enough to have their own special memories with him. And I'm so thankful that we live in a day and a time where we have so many amazing pictures and videos to look back on, to hear his voice, his laughter, to see his smile. Over the last few weeks, we have witnessed the immense love and support and outpouring from people near and far who were impacted by Vaka's life and his ministry, more than we could even ever have imagined. But it makes sense because he had an incredibly special way of making people feel loved, cared for, and valued. It has truly been a gift to hear the stories of how much he meant to so many people all over the world. Bob, thank you for loving us. Thank you for praying for us. Thank you for laying a foundation of faith for your kids, who are now laying that same foundation of faith in their homes. Thank you for showing us what it means to practice radical hospitality and generosity. You set a high bar in both of those character traits. Well done, good and faithful servant. You are a man after God's own heart, and a beautiful example of a life lived for Jesus. We love you, Bob.
I know we used a lot of our time, but I just wanted to, before I think just one of my kids are going to say something, but just to introduce Boss family. my wife Shannon, I don't know if she said that, but it says our oldest Liana, and Mia is our next, over here on the right, and then Galesi, and then Vaka.
There's so many things I can say about my papa. I think the one I'll highlight today is how loving he was. He always cared for everyone, always cared for me. I knew to some extent that he had a big heart, that he loved everyone with the love, not just some kind man, but with the love of Jesus. But I didn't realize how many hearts he touched, not until I saw all of you. Thank you for being here. It means so much to me. It means so much to my family. Thank you for teaching us how to love. I love you. My mom. Always be a superstar. And yeah, thank you again.